Hi, welcome or welcome back. My name is Rachel. That is the R in the RK Stumblingbear, and I'm a reader and a writer. And today I am doing my mid-year freakout tag. Just because it's a fun staple to do. It's a good way to kind of check in and realize, oh, maybe I have gone off track or have not. I don't know. We'll find out. Even though these are questions that I've done in the past, I haven't actually decided my answers. I just sat down to film. So we're going to figure this out together. Yay us. So question number 1, what is the best book I have read so far in 2025? And for that, I am going to have to go with Whiskey and Warfare by E.M. Hamill. This is a self-published science fiction space opera that I just really was able to connect with. It has older characters. They're actually older than me, but they're dealing with the realities of getting older. Your body's not as capable. Your relationships are different. You're closer to death than you were when you were a kid. You're able to see through the bullshit and propaganda of politics. Having established friends or like a community that you get to interact with. These were all key things that really attracted me to this book. It was not something I was expecting to find. It was not even on my radar at the beginning of this year because this is one of the reads for the self-published science fiction contest. And it actually has moved on to the finalist round, which will be announced at the beginning of August, who the finalist is. But yeah, this just, I guess, has hit me at a perfect time at my life where it resonated deeply, and it is so far my favorite read of 2025. Question number 2. What is the best sequel you have read so far in 2025? And for that, we're going to go with A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is the second in his Leviathan series. Oh, they're calling it Anna and Din mystery series. I don't know. I really enjoyed getting to know Anna and Din more than we had in the first book. And the mystery for this was just kind of right up my alley. I had figured out parts of it before the end, but I didn't have fully how it was connected or why. So yeah, I had a lot of fun working through this mystery and just being in this strange world where humans don't look like you and I. They're altered because of this Leviathan blood and other reagents that they use. So it's kind of like a biopunk world that in some ways like doesn't have the same technology that we do, but in other ways it's fascinating. I really enjoyed it. Question number 3, a new release that has come out that I was excited to read but haven't yet read. And for this, we are going to go with Shroud by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I mean, according to the title page, this was published in February of 2025. However, my library only recently got the copy in. I've been waiting for months to get to this, and I only have a short window to read it, so this is part of my July TBR, because I want to get this read. Number 4, most anticipated new release for the second half of the year. So what am I waiting for? And honestly, there are a lot of good ones here coming up. And I think it's really a toss-up between Queen's Demon by Martha Wells, because I loved that first book, and The Strength of the Few by James Islington, because I also loved that first book. And they both come out this fall. So I really can't choose because I'm just as excited about both of these. These are both books that I am planning to pre-order. So that should tell you how excited I am, because I don't actually pre-order books very often. Question number 5, what is my biggest disappointment so far this year? And for that, I am going to go with A History of What Comes Next by Sylvain Neuvel. This is an alternate history sci-fi that the synopsis is just very compelling, but the execution for me was not. It was written more in a vignette style, and so I felt like that made huge chunks of the plot kind of disappear or got hand wavy, because characters would be here and all of a sudden they're over here, and then we would have interludes of people in the past. I love the historical people who were brought into the narrative. I thought that was really good. I remember there were a couple that I looked up and like, I've never heard of this person, and then yes, this is actually someone who worked in rocketry, and just finding out more about that history. But overall, the execution of this did leave me disappointed. Question number 6, what is my biggest surprise? And for that, I am going with The Butcher of the Forest by Premi Mohammed. This was nominated for the Nebulas and the Hugos. It's a novella, and it's a dark fantasy with fae. And I have very much moved off of fae. I don't really care for fae stories, but this one just was compelling in a very gripping way. Premi Mohammed is great at just sucking you into a story that you're like, technically this is not something I would normally be interested in, but I just couldn't help it. Following Varys as she's called before the king to go retrieve his children from the forest that they went into, that all the locals know that you're not supposed to go into ever. And then that journey, and what Varys is willing to give up and not to give up in order to do what the king wants her to do. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. Number 7, who is my new favorite author? This can be a debut or new to me. And for this, I think I'm going to go with A.G. Slater. I've only read one of her books. I finished The Briar Book of the Dead in May, but I have The Crimson Road on my priority 2025 new releases list. And I really, really liked The Briar Book of the Dead. So I guess I have to kind of see if that she really is going to be a favorite author, but right now I'm tentatively hopeful. Number 8, newest fictional crush. And for that, I'm going to go with Masizi from Death of the Author by Nanedia Okorafor. This came out in January of this year, and Masizi is one of the most patient people ever. And I love that he gives Zelu the space for her to be who she is and not expect her to be something different, especially in cultures where families do expect you to be a certain way or do a certain thing. He gave Zelu the freedom just to be who she is. Doesn't mean he always liked everything she did or agreed with everything she did, but he really approached her as an equal. And I just thought their relationship was amazing. And just him as a person, I thought he was a great male character. And someone that if I was not happily married, I would totally be like, I want him. Number 9, newest fictional character. And I really truly think that this is just the year where I am loving older characters, because my favorite new character so far this year is Ophelia from Remnant Population by Elizabeth Moon. This is an octogenarian who, I mean, maybe she's older than that, I don't know, who decides to stay behind when her colony gets moved. And really comes into herself, realizes that she's an artist, and all the things that society and propriety told her not to do, she finds what she likes before then running into an alien race. Ophelia from Remnant Population by Elizabeth Moon is lover. Question number 10, a book that made you cry. The first book that made me cry this year was actually a children's picture book called Home in a Lunchbox by Cherry Mo. This is so sweet and precious. It's actually based on Cherry's real experience, as an immigrant coming over to the States, being in elementary school, and only knowing like a few words of English, but yet trying to make friends. And you see her struggling, and her one happiness of each day is when she opens her lunchbox and it's foods from home, and it's foods that are connected with love and joy. So even though she's feeling lonely and sad at school because she's not understanding the teacher, she doesn't understand what her classmates are saying, she gets to still feel that love. And then you get to see throughout this book, this like first week or so of her time here at this new school, that some other students start noticing that she always is happy when she opens her lunchbox, and they start forming a friendship based on food and sharing, which then, introduces her to friends. And the artwork on this is stunning. Not every page needs words, but you get the emotion. So I wasn't very far in before I just kind of started bawling, but honestly, they were happy tears because we get to see joy, and that not everyone's immigrant experience is met with racism. I'm sure she still experienced that growing up, but in this moment, she found love and acceptance. And I think that is a beautiful message to share with our children. Number 11, a book that made me happy. And for this one, I am going with Finley Donovan is Killing It by El Casimano. When I picked up this book, I was going through a hard, tense time because my job decided they're going to restructure. However, my job description stayed the same, just got a different title. But because they put a new title on it, they claimed that it was a new position, and I had to decide if I wanted to reapply for my same job. And so one of the characters in this, I associated basically with the people who made this decision at work. And yeah, I kind of had fun. I hate reading this character. Especially when they did things that all of us are going, why'd you do that? It's like, how could you be so oblivious to how your actions are affecting other people? Because that's how I felt at work. So this book made me happy because it made me feel better in a time that was extremely stressful. Question number 12, what is the most beautiful book you have bought so far this year? If we're going to talk about beautiful, I am going to have to go with How to Do Nothing, Resisting the Attention Economy by Jenny Odell. I haven't read this yet, but some of my YouTube friends are reading it, slow reading it, by the way. And it sounds like something that I want to read. So I picked it up, and it's just this beautiful flowers on the cover, which my husband does gardening, especially growing flowers, as part of helping his mental health. And so I saw the flowers and just immediately thought like, take time and smell the flowers, right? Or take time to smell the roses, what the saying is. So yeah, I'm gonna go with this as just the most beautiful cover. Question 13, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And as I'm a mood reader, need is relative. I do know that in the month of July, I am focusing on catching up on my Goodreads buddy read group. I still need to read Walk Away, which was one of our buddy reads from June. And then the buddy reads in July are supposed to be Dragon Mage, though I don't know if this one's happening anymore. I didn't see it on the calendar reminder, and my library doesn't have it in yet, so either way, I think I'm good. But the other one for this month is going to be The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. So I'm doing pretty well in keeping up with my buddy reads. I'm just slightly behind right now, so I want to do that. And then I'll probably work on the 2025 new releases, priorities that I haven't read yet. I want to get caught up on my Readathon TBR. So that's kind of what I'm doing in July. I usually, around this time, I would be trying to frantically finish reading for the Hugo. And this year, I just don't care as much. That doesn't mean that I'm not necessarily interested in the books that were nominated for the Hugo. I'm just not feeling in a rush to read them. I'll get them read eventually. It'll be fine. That was my 2025 mid-year freakout tag. The question I would love to know from everyone, if you don't do this video yourself, if you do, leave me a link to your video, I'll go watch it. But if you don't, the question I'd love for you all to answer is most anticipated release for the second half of this year. I am curious. I am tentatively interested in Herkiad 2.0, and I have absolutely no new releases for December. So I would need that in order to complete that prompt series. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.